everyone, Screaming Geek here. I am Jerry the Geek. Today we are going to talk about TRON on 4K. But before we get into this, if you like physical media, 4Ks, Blu-rays, even DVDs, please check out my other videos on my channel because I do these reviews, I do unboxings, I do collection updates about every month, I do different discussions. Check that stuff out, hit the like button, subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, and always feel free to comment below, let me know what you think of anything. So let's talk about TRON 4K. This has been out for a few months now, and I just finally got around to watching it recently. And, the movie came out in 1982, rated PG, directed by Steven Leisberger. Has Jeff Bridges, never get his name right, Bruce Boxleitner. This is a classic, this is an iconic movie from Disney. It's always been on my wish list for 4K. I was so glad it finally came out. Jeff Bridges plays Kevin Flynn. Basically he's a computer programmer, and he just kind of gets sucked into, digitized, and gets pulled into this game world of TRON. And for when the movie was made, you're talking 1982, and you're using computer graphics. That was the beginning. It was just amazing. They were so far ahead of their time. And I've always loved it. It still holds up today. It looks a little cheesy, but still pretty good. But still, I love the movie. Phenomenal. Now, the 4K comes from Disney. It came out late last year. And if you follow physical media at all, the release of this and the sequel was a complete botch job from Sony Disney. I don't know whose fault it was, but it was a complete disaster. They need to get their shit together as far as, keeping things in stock. They have no idea how, demand these things are. And plus, it was announced and they went up for pre-order like 2-3 weeks before release date. Like, what the hell? Yeah, I lucked out. I pre-ordered it. I remember it went up for pre-order on a Friday. Later that day, they're unavailable. I lucked out and, had them pre-ordered. And even then, it was like 2 months after release date before I got them. I got this one first, and a month later, I got Legacy. It's a complete botch job from Disney or Sony. I don't know whose fault it is, but it was freaking screwed up. But anyway, the movie here was originally filmed in 35 millimeter. It was finished with HDR10 and Dolby Vision. And from the get-go, I was very impressed with this. The streets at nighttime, had the rich blacks, and the lighting looked phenomenal. Then they go inside the arcade, and just all the details, textures really jump out. And of course, the HDR just bumps up that contrast, and everything looks rich and deep. The colors freaking leap off the screen, and very crisp too. All the color lines, they don't bleed. They just really stand out with that contrast against those dark backgrounds. And then you go into Dillinger's office at in the big skyscraper, and all the blacks, the grays, everything, a shiny desk. It just looks phenomenal. If you want a good 4K, this is it. This is definitely a reference disc, in my opinion. Now, as far as a Blu-ray comparison, I still have the old Blu-ray. And even though the Blu-ray is pretty damn solid, I remember watching it just months ago, and it looks freaking phenomenal. So, in my opinion, I wasn't expecting a lot out of the 4K. I figured, it'll be a little better, but the biggest difference was those colors. The colors look great on Blu-ray, but they tend to bleed a little bit. Where, again, like I mentioned with the 4K, the colors are really crisp. It has those crisp lines. You can see the contrast between the color and the backgrounds. And the Blu-ray just they bleed a little bit. Especially the one scene where they're inside the tank and all that red. The 4K, that's a big difference. I didn't take screenshots. I'm pretty much getting away from doing screenshots because it doesn't show true representation. But yeah, that scene there alone, the Blu-ray, the reds is it's a lot of red. and it just bleeds everywhere. Where the 4K, it's a lot of red, but at the same time, you see the background, everything is crisp and clean. So in that aspect, the 4K is far ahead of the Blu-ray. Very nice upgrade. Now for the audio here, they gave us a Dolby Atmos track. Very good overall, clear dialogue throughout. Everything has a nice balance, which sometimes, if you follow me, I really harp on some of my reviews about some of the older movies. The mixes are not done right, where the balance will be off, but it is well done here. Everything is natural sounding. It doesn't sound fake. Again, some of those older movies, they just sound like they'll have like a hollow sound to it. They don't mix them right, but this one sounds incredible. Surround ambience is there. Some low end, but not that much. This is that would be my only flaw with this, is something about Dolby Atmos when it comes to bass. Dolby Atmos usually does not provide a lot of bass. Some tracks do, but a lot of them don't. This is where the Blu-ray is better than the 4K because it has a DTS 5.1 and it blows the Dolby Atmos track away. I mean, the bass just freaking shakes and rattles your house big time. The Dolby Atmos here does not do it. It just has a little bit. It has hints of bass. Again, I don't blame it. I just think overall Dolby Atmos, whoever's doing the mixes, they're not being done right. I've seen a lot of Atmos tracks recently. Even back on Titanic, it was not done right. Recently, the Daylight, Dante's Peak, they were piss poor jobs on Dolby Atmos. Now for the packaging here, this is a steel book. I got the J card here. Has all the info on the back. A gorgeous steel book. That's one of the reasons I had to have. Even if they had a standard edition, I probably wouldn't. I would have went with this. I don't always have to have a steel book, but these are just stunning. And I've got a digital code I'll share with you in a second. And we got the 2 disc here. Definitely have to be careful that, of course, the 4K pops out easy. And then a Blu-ray, not so much. And you got the light cycle artwork on the inside. Very cool. And here, I'll put these away. Here's a digital code for you. Pause it if you want to check this out. Now, for bonus features, really nothing new here. Everything is ported over from the old Blu-ray. Now, I forgot to take my glasses off because I can't even freaking read them. You got the phototronology. Which this was pretty, even though it's not new, these are interesting features. You join the director and his son. They actually go into the Disney archives and pull out and looking through old negatives and photos from production, sharing stories with his son. So that was pretty cool. Then we got the TRON phenomenon. Explore the impact of pop culture. The making of TRON, deleted scenes, you got audio commentary. But nothing new, everything just ported over from the Blu-ray. Now to wrap it up, is this worth getting? I would say yes. Again, visually, it is a upgrade over the Blu-ray because the colors are just, everything's crisp. Everything's well defined. But the audio track, it's good, but just missing the extra bass. It doesn't have that punch to it. But for this old movie, it probably doesn't need that extra punch. I think you'll be happy enough because it is pretty impressive overall. It does have that robust audio track, even without all the bass. But you can get the 4K. It is available now for $33.19. But if you have the Blu-ray, I would recommend getting the upgrade here. So that pretty much does it for a look at TRON 4K. Please check out my other videos on my channel. Like, subscribe, turn your bell notifications on. Comment below, let me know what you think. And we'll see you soon. Geek out.